Loopapalooza, the best of the loop.
Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
It's time for Loopapalooza, the best of the loop, all night. All your favorite loop personalities back to back. We know what you need.
I need someone to take care of me, someone to rub my tired muscles, smooth out my sheets.
Get married.
I just need it for tonight.
Loopapalooza, a broadcasting cavalcade featuring the most powerful lineup in radio. Overnights, stay up with the loop.
I just need it for tonight.
Loopapalooza. Gary Meyer, 15 years of broadcasting experience, now on the Midday Show, and just part of our Loopapalooza Spectacular, the best of the loop. Here's more Gary Meyer on 97.9, The Loop FM.
This is Warren on the phone. Hi, Warren, you're in the air.
Hi, Gary.
Warren is a storm photographer, and you've been doing this for about 15 years.
15 years, right.
What got you started doing this?
Well, I was a journalist. I'd worked for several magazines and newspapers, and as part of the assignments, I covered more and more weather-related events. And the more weather I shot, I realized the more I enjoyed it, and it allowed me to get out and do what I wanted to do, and eventually I made it into a career.
So you chase about, 100 storms a year, I read?
Between 100 and 150.
But the storms aren't going to be right around where you're at all the time, so you have to travel to find these things, right?
Right. It's real travel intensive. You know, whether you talk about the tornadoes in the Midwest during the spring or the hurricanes along the Gulf states or the East Coast during the fall.
But if you're going to photograph a tornado, you don't have that much time to get from point A to point B to photograph this thing, right?
No, you don't. Also, the average tornado is only on the ground 10 minutes, so that has to factor into it, too.
So how do you do that?
Well, it's the main thing is forecasting where the storms are going to go up and try to pick out the best storms and stay with it until it actually produces a tornado.
Where do you live normally?
In Tucson, Arizona.
If you call that normally, I guess.
Yeah.
And are there a lot of storms around Tucson?
Tucson's well known for the lightning storms in the summer.
What's your favorite storm? Lightning or tornado or hurricane what?
Gosh, you know, I used to say lightning, and then when I started chasing tornadoes, I said tornadoes, and then after Hurricane Andrew, I said hurricane. So I think it's a toss-up. It depends on the storm.
Is this video or still photography or both?
I do video, stills, and now also motion picture film.
All at the same time?
Well, it's kind of depending on what the storm looks like. I make the choice then as to what I'm going to put it on.
Is Hurricane Andrew your favorite storm altogether?
Not necessarily the favorite, but it was definitely the most violent and frightening.
You were there when it was really happening?
Right on the coast. As a matter of fact, I got the only still photographs known of the storm in action when it was still going that morning. One of them, of course, ended up on the cover of Life, so it worked out to be a good deal.
How close do you get to these things?
Close enough to get the photograph, but not close enough to be in any grave danger, although sometimes that's hard to avoid.
And you have been zapped by lightning at least once?
Well, I've got the residual. I've never been actually hit by a lightning bolt itself, but I have felt some of the residual of lightning from a nearby striker when it might come up through the tripod and energize that.
That sounds like a good time. You sell these photographs to magazines, TV stations, and the like?
They're sold all over the world for just about anything you could imagine. The film, of course, is used for motion picture and commercials, and the photographs appear in everything from encyclopedias, the books, to calendars, and magazines.
Are you tracking something right now?
Tracking something today. Today looks interesting.
Where at?
Eastern Colorado.
And are you there right now?
No, still in Amarillo, and as soon as I get done here, I'll be going out to the Weather Service, and a professor friend of mine and I will be traveling up that way to...
What are you looking at in eastern Colorado?
To be honest, I haven't looked at the pinpoint forecast yet, but I think there is a outside possibility of severe weather, and certainly the possibility of tornadoes.
And you jump in a plane and go to that location, right?
Well, today we won't be using any aircraft. Today we'll strictly be using ground transportation.
So you're close enough to just get in the four-wheel.
Yeah, within a 2 or 3 hour drive, that's usually not a problem.
So you just do this all day, and this is your living?
This is my living, and this is my life for about 6 or 7 months out of the year.
What do you do the rest of the year?
Well, I usually try to do anything but chase storms to get my mind away from everything from skiing to tennis to biking to just about anything else I can think of to get my mind away from it. Because, of course, in the next 3 or 4 months, I'll have to start thinking about chasing again.
Because now, with summer, you could get a tornado just about anywhere in the country.
This time of year,
yeah,
very possible.
But are some tornadoes better than others? Don't they all kind of look alike at some point?
Well, I think the secret to a good tornado is one, of course, that's not in the process of endangering anyone. And fortunately, out here, there's so much open land. Most of the tornadoes are out in the middle of nowhere, which is good. I don't like to see them go in and wipe anything else. That's not what I'm out there for. I'm looking for the picturesque, the Wizard of Oz type graphic tornado.
That are just out in an open field and you can just track it for a good 10 minutes?
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
Although, you'd have to admit that most people would want to see a tornado tearing stuff up. It's like going to the Indy. You want to see a crash, whether you admit it or not.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I first started chasing, I thought, well, maybe that will be exciting. But I can honestly tell you that the tornadoes I've seen that have been approaching populated areas, you might see debris going up a house, or you might see power lines exploding. It's not an exciting feeling. It's a very, not in the stomach sickening feeling. So that, at least for me, is not really a thrill. I would rather not see that.
Let me pitch something to you, Warren. There's a local weather guy here who has a special every year on either lightning or tornadoes, and he just did one on tornadoes a few days ago. And I said to him, how about this combination, tornadoes? You have people videotaping themselves having sex while a tornado is approaching. It's called tornado. And then you could sell these things. I think there's something there. Now, you've got some good footage, I'm sure, of tornadoes, but this would take it another step. Well,
it's funny you mention that, because there are a couple of movie companies in Los Angeles who have planned storm chase themed movies, and that, what you just mentioned, is kind of entwined in some of the plot.
You're kidding.
No, so it's just a matter of time before that all comes together. Of course, tornadoes are Freudian to begin with for some people, so it's kind of a perfect match.
Now, wait a minute. These are people who do porn films?
No. These are. I haven't heard that yet, but give them time. These are serious producers. Everyone from Spielberg to Disney to Hollywood Pictures. I just heard they're
doing movies about something involving a tornado.
Right. It's some element of the movie.
Okay, so this area is still open.
Oh yeah, it's wide open, and it's just the first come, first served.
So that could be the name of the movie. Never mind. I was thinking of a title there. But you might want to investigate this. You've got the footage, and they're always looking for stupid themes with these porno films, like they need one. And you could sell them footage that you have of tornadoes and lightning things, and they could have like, oh my God, these people are afraid, they end up in bed together. That's all they need, is that little hook.
Well, they can send some of the actresses out, and I'll interview them first before they send it to me, just to make sure it's kosher.
This is Dave on the phone with us. Hi, Dave. You're in the air.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
I was wondering if any of your work is publicly available, and if so, do you have any really good shots of trailers in midair?
What do you do about that, Warren, when you're filming? Do you get some good trailer shots?
No, but we have a joke amongst us that one day one of us, the storm chasers, is going to retire out in Texas and buy up several hundred acres and just build a kind of a dummy trailer park out there and just put cameras around it.
Yeah.
Decoys.
Yeah, we thought about it. And your other question as far as marketing, I have roughly, I think last time I counted 13 or 14 agents around the world that sell my work commercially, and it's also available in magazines that cater towards weather.
And Dave, you're one of those guys that would sit around some night and just put on the tornado video?
No, but I got a nice western view off my balcony, so I get to see the storms approaching into the suburbs. Which is always a thrill to see lightning striking about a mile away from you.
That's something you might want to photograph. Yeah. Like Warren does.
Or just enjoy.
Yeah, just put the video on of the lightning strikes, honey, and we'll order a pizza. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Okay. Another question for you, Warren. This is Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Tom.
Who am I speaking to?
This is.
I came in halfway through the program, so I didn't know who it was.
This is Warren. He's a storm photographer.
I was curious. The Andover tornado 3 years ago. Were you Were you out there at the time?
Yes, I was. As a matter of fact, I was just to a storm that was south of the one that hit Andover.
Wow.
Andover where?
Andover, Kansas. I believe 26 people were killed during a massive tornado outbreak.
Tom, how would you have that in the back of your head? How would you know about that or remember?
Well, Gary, it's like this. My brother goes to school in Wichita, and I was out there, and he was in a pretty bad tornado last year. Actually, he had never seen one, so he stood in the Holiday Inn parking lot and watched this thing come at him, and he wouldn't get out of the parking lot. They had to, drag him in with his girlfriend, dumb North Shore kid. And, he was telling me about it. I was just curious that if you had happened to see or film the Andover one.
And you do have that one on video, Warren?
Not the actual Andover. There were a line of about, if I remember right, 4 or 5 individual what we call supercells.
Yeah, that was a level 6, I think.
Level 6. Boy, Tom, you really got into it.
Well,
He knows what he's talking about.
My family were all pilots and all that. We're into meteorology.
No, meteorology, sure, pilots, it's all intertwined.
Bunch of nerds like that.
And your brother just was so mesmerized by this, he stood there while it came at him.
Oh, he was a complete sizzle chest. I mean, just sat there and, wow, look at this. Andy, you're going to be sucked up in a second. There.
I can't go in. It's too beautiful. It's magnificent. It's Mother Nature coming to kill me. Thanks, Tom.
Take care.
And that's what you do, Warren. You just get transfixed by these things.
You know, it's funny. No matter how many I've seen, there is still something, a primeval awe or something. When you look at these things, it's kind of like staring at a fire, the ocean or something. It's just something about them that puts you in a trance. And sometimes that makes it difficult to concentrate on shooting them. But once you see one, as another chaser said, once you absolutely never forget anything about it.
Well, I'm going to have to stand outside with a video camera, see how long I can go. See if I can get off on it like you guys do, the guys that have done it. Warren, thanks. I appreciate your time.
No problem, Gary.
Okay.
Good talking with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's Warren Fadley, storm photographer.
Good morning. It's 3:33 on the Loop FM. Loop FM shadow traffic says the Kennedy Expressway outbound just a little tight around Kimball, where it's down to 1 lane until 5 this morning. About 13 minutes to the junction, 23 to the airport. The express lanes are closed. They did some stage changing on the inbound Stevenson overnight. Now, from the Tri-State Tollway to Kedzie, the 2 right lanes are open. You use the 2 left lanes to drive through. Then from Kedzie to the Ryan, 3 lanes are open. And the Cermak Road exit ramp from the inbound Stevenson has been reopened. That's some good news there. They're working with an accident with injuries in Arlington Heights at Chestnut and Park Place, which is just north of Northwest Highway. A hazardous material situation in Arlington Heights near Somerset and Minor. Some type of gas leak behind a Jewel food store. Equipment is in the area. Shouldn't be too much of a traffic problem right now, but once the rush hour traffic starts to fill in, just keep that in mind. A couple of fires burning, one on the city's south side at 18th and Christiana, and another one on the northwest side on Nordica, just north of Diversey. All the fire equipment is at Sayre and Diversey. Traffic is brought to you by Anacin. Anacin, the pain reliever that gets rid of headaches that interfere with your work. Anacin, it works on your headache so you can work better. Use it as directed. Loop FM weather says for the rest of the overnight hours, clear with a low of 54. Later today, sunny, windy, and cooler with a high of 75. And for your Wednesday night, clear with a low of 45. Right now it's 61 at O'Hare, 64 at Midway, and 68 at the Loop FM 97.9.
Kevin Matthews wakes you up every weekday morning at 5:30. Here's more highlights from the Talkmas experience on Loopapalooza 97.9, the Loop FM.
Doc is going to be me. Barry Manilow's on the phone. Where's the information? Doc. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
How are you? Barry Manilow?
Kevin?
Yes. Welcome to AM 1000. How are you today?
All right. Is that you playing Sing, Sing, Sing by Benny Goodman?
That's actually out of the soundtrack's Swing Kids.
Right.
Yeah. So how are you today?
Good.
So you're coming to Chicago soon, huh? Tomorrow night? Poplar Creek?
We're doing Poplar Creek in Chicago. So wait a minute. Go back for a second. So is that a popular thing? The Swing Kids, the Sing, Sing, Sing on from that thing?
Sure. Very popular song around here.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of doing a big band album. That's kind of good news.
Oh, yeah? We might hear that, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of good news that people are into big band stuff. I've always been into big band stuff, and I've been thinking about doing one. So, yes, we're at Poplar Creek tomorrow, a place that I've been before, a place that I've had a great time in last couple of, I'd say 10 years, and well, Chicago's always a good place for me anyway. I sort of began here, you know.
What? You did?
Yeah, I kind of began here. I played a place called Mr. Kelly's back in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
Was that before you?
A little bit before me.
It was a pretty big nightclub down on Rush Street. And when I used to play piano for Bette Midler, she began at Mr. Kelly's. And then when I made my first album, they asked me to come back and do my solo thing there. And it really, Chicago kind of took off in Chicago because of Mr. Kelly's.
So are you out on an extended tour right now?
I'm always on tour, but yeah, I'm out on I'm out on the United States leg of this tour.
And where after, is this the beginning of the tour? Or
It's basically the beginning of the summer tour. Yeah, we're going for the whole summer.
Okay. So tell us about this new CD, Magic Nights.
This new CD, Magic Nights. I haven't got a CD called Magic Nights.
You don't?
No. I have a.
I've been misinformed, huh?
I have a box set.
Uh-huh.
And it's basically a big greatest hits album. Hey, you're playing Showstoppers, eh?
Yeah. Play it.
Yeah, that was the last album. That was a good one. That was a Broadway thing. But this one is it's a box set, one of those retrospectives of everything that the artist has ever done in their lives.
So, this Friday night on Jay Leno, huh?
This Friday night?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been misinformed again, huh?
You got your stuff all mixed up. I did Jay Leno about 5 weeks ago, Kevin.
Okay, I've been misinformed.
Twice. I think you've got to speak to somebody.
My producers.
Yeah.
What can I say about them?
What else are you going to ask me, Kevin?
I'm almost scared to ask you anything else now. You said that this is the last part of the beginning of the tour?
This is the beginning of the summer tour.
Okay, and so you go to Europe or where from here?
No, that's three. 3 strikes are out.
No, I'm asking. You said this was the U.S. part of it.
Yeah, no,
do you go to Europe from here or what?
We've already come back from Europe.
We
already did Europe. We already did Asia. We did Europe. This is the United States part of it, the summer version.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Barry.
Yeah, Kevin, it's been a pleasure.
All right. Next time you're in Chicago, I hope you come see us.
Great.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
What the heck is this?
I put that bio together. I put that bio together. I said his new CD was entitled Magic Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not.
Thanks.
He'll be on Jay Leno this Friday, which was like 4 weeks ago. And you should ask him about his new movie called Paris Park.
He's got more things going on during his show than a one-legged hamster and a four-armed sack race. Danny Bonaducci on Loopapalooza, the best of the loop.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am being joined by the big guns, if you will, from Washburn Guitars. Del, how do you pronounce your last name?
Pardon?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Breckenfeld.
Breckenfeld.
Right.
It's good Irish name.
I'm staying with Del on this. And Greg Bennett. How you doing?
Good, bud.
Hey, Danny.
So, now, Del, I know what you do. You're the head cheese top dog, big kahuna over at Washburn. You know how I know? Because every time the Loop goes way out of their way to get me, like, the best seats in the world for a concert, he's right in front of me.
That's true.
He's got better seats. That's how I know he's a big guy.
He has connections, I think, with the family or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Greg, what do you do for Washburn?
I've done everything. I'm just handling sales in this area right now.
But you also do this free acoustic guitar clinics on Thursdays?
Well, we did 150 of them last year all over the country.
Gee. So, now what happens? People go down to these things, and what happens there?
Well, it's just sort of, we really got started in because you go into a store, and some young guy can walk up and explain this massive mixing console and everything it does, and then he walks over and shows the guy a $300 Brown guitar, So the big deal really was to kind of make a real friendly, palpable way to explain how an acoustic guitar works and tell a little bit about construction and woods and all that stuff.
Okay, here's what I know about how acoustic guitars work. And here we go. All right, it's got a hollow body.
That's right.
Therefore, causing an echo effect.
It resonates.
It resonates.
There you go.
The strings go from thick to skinny, and therefore make different noises.
You really, at that point, you're ahead of most people, Danny.
Okay, dig me. I'm, I'm Eddie Van Halen, for God's sakes.
You're so darn technical, I tell you.
So that's what I would know. Now, my friend Dave, I can't remember who this guy is. He had a guitar made. This was back before Dave found cocaine and had a lot of money. He had a guitar made by some guy who was like, and at this time it was probably 77, 78. We were right out of high school. And $5,000 for a guitar was a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
But we were all really rich back then. And I forget the guy's name, but he was really famous. And the different kind of woods in the neck versus body and stuff like that were of major concern to this guy. Is that really true?
Sure, because it's just physics. If you have a neck...
it's just physics.
Well,
yeah, so's the A-bomb, dude.
He's always got a thumb up your butt. Johnny B in the afternoon with entertainment for the happy hour on Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Now, here's Brian Meyer.
Someone you should know.
Really? Who?
Kids, what?
Who?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Janet Kasbrisky was visiting Minocqua, Wisconsin, land of Beefarama, when she sent us this clipping from the Lakeland Times. And the photo is of Adam Maglish of Woodruff, shown here giving spectators another example of his first-place loon call in the ages 12 to 17 loon calling division. Let's meet Adam Maglish. The loon calling champion out of Woodruff, Wisconsin. Adam? Adam?
Yeah?
How are you, sir?
Fine.
Now, it says here that you were in the 12 to 17-year-old division, but yet I'm hearing that you're 8 years old. Is that true?
Yep.
You're 8?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in the, well, it's for you, it would be an adult division.
I don't know.
You have no idea?
They just put me in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you were competing against people almost twice your age.
Yep.
And yet you come out a winner. The head loon, the king of the loons, the loon calling champion.
Well, almost.
What do you mean?
I didn't exactly get the big trophies off.
Oh, why not? It said here you're the first place champion in the Lakeland Times.
Yeah.
Yeah? So why didn't you get the biggest trophy?
Because after that, they have the winners do the loon calling contest again, and this one other person won.
Oh, all right. Adam Maglish. Adam, we here in Chicago would love to hear you do the champion call of the loon. Could we hear it?
Yes.
All right, here now is Adam Maglish from Woodruff, Wisconsin, 8-year-old with the loon call that won in the contest in Wisconsin.
That wasn't it, but I have a cold and stuff.
Is it cold?
Wait a minute. I don't understand what you were just doing. That was you, but you had a cold?
Yeah. I had a cold, so I didn't do my loon call that good just a while ago.
Well, it sounded good to us, Adam, but I'd like to hear it again. If you could give it all you've got. Give it the big, it's a loon, it's on the lake, the sun is down, the lake is calm, and right now you're coming in to feed.
Okay.
All right, Adam, that is very good. Very good. That is a nice way to spend your summer up there in Woodruff, Wisconsin, a beautiful area. And, Adam, we are very proud of you.
Okay.
Now, you're saying, wait a minute. Aren't there any girls in the competition?
Yeah.
I know, that's the first thing I thought of. Well, sure. Brigitte Kruczynski of Winchester shows off her first-place trophy in the ages 0 to 5. I'd like to see... I'm reading right out of the Lakeland Times. I would love to see the 0 contestant. What age group are you in? 0. I'm in the 0 age group. Brigitte Kruczynski of Winchester shows off her first-place trophy in the ages 0 to 5 division of the Mercer Loon Day Loon Calling Contest. Let's meet Brigitte Kruczynski of Winchester. Brigitte?
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Did you just hear Adam, the first-place caller?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
It was good.
Yeah, well, there's a beautiful picture of you holding a nice trophy there. You should be pretty happy. All the Kruczynskis got to be happy. And can we hear your champion call now? Are you ready to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, how old are you, Brigitte?
5.
How do you say your first name?
Brigitte.
Brigitte. Brigitte?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Brigitte. Could you, you're 5 years old, and would you please do your champion call, please?
Dated girls that sounded exactly like that.
Oh, you wish. You wish you did. Uh-huh. Sure you did. Ooh, yeah, they're saying, ooh, get off me. Ooh, get off me. Hey, Adam?
Yeah?
Let me hear you, the male champion and the female champion, both 8 and 1-5 together. Let me hear the loons together. Here we are now. Where's yours, Brigitta? Brigitta?
Yeah?
Where's yours? Where's yours, Adam?
Very close to mating.
Yeah, yes, very, very close. Many, many, many years away for that. Hey, Adam, out of Woodruff, nice to speak with you. Brigitta?
Yeah?
Nice talking to you, too. Hold on, we want to send you some fun stuff here from our radio showgram, okay?
Okay.
Someone you should know, Brigitta and Harry, from the loon calling competition there, sent in by Janet Kapreski, who is vacationing up in that area. Congratulations to both Adam and Brigitta from all of us here at WLUB in Chicago.
There is perhaps no natural sound that more completely symbolizes the call of the loon. No doubt the loons were communicating something significant to each other when they gave these calls.
97.9 WLUP Chicago. The Loop.
Kevin Matthews, Talk Mess in the Morning. Just part of our Loopapalooza Spectacular. The best of the Loop. Here's Kev on 97.9 The Loop FM.
A man in the studio that I've read a lot of his works, Mr. Bob Green, is in the studio. Bob, hi.
Morning, Kevin.
Welcome to Talk Mess. You know, I was really inclined to go ahead and play like a Jordan jingle or something with the Bulls because of hang time, and I'm going, wait. Before Michael Jordan, there was Bob Green. That's all got to wait here. A lot of people think, Bob Jordan. No, you've been writing columns for a long, long time. Let's start with you. How long have you been writing for newspapers?
I started writing for the Sun-Times back in '69 when I got out of school. I started writing the column for the Sun-Times in '71 and moved over to the Tribune in '78.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been here a while.
Bruce is here. I know Bruce is down in Joliet via satellite.
Hi,
Bruce
Bob.
Wolf. Bob Green.
Hi, Bruce.
This is now in paperback.
Yeah, hang times.
Yeah, all you got to do is pull the mic up. Chunga, come here, Chunga, you little hammerhead.
What are we doing here?
No, he's out of his mind.
Yeah, hang time's out in paperback this week, and as you know, it's about a couple years spent with Jordan, both in the arenas around the NBA, but mostly alone and talking. Because I always found that as fascinating as it is to watch Jordan play basketball, which obviously was Jordan on the road, with the hotel room door double locked, the do not disturb sign out, phone off the hook, and his feet up on the table, trying to make sense out of his life. That Jordan's even more fascinating because he's a very smart guy and he notices everything. And my thought about him has always been, don't try to guess what he might mean or analyze him or do just amateur psychiatry on him. Just talk to him, because most people, when you see him around Jordan, when they meet him, their voices speed up. They'll come up to him and they'll be talking like a regular person, and they'll meet Jordan, and all of a sudden they'll be on 78. And the reason is it's almost as if they fear that Jordan will walk away from them if they let even a second air breathe in the conversation. If you slow down and let him slow down, I find him to be, the best interpreter of his own life of anybody. Just let him talk.
Well, he is a human being.
I saw him last week. And
or is he?
He offered
he
me.
might be an alien. Because I've seen him do some unbelievable things. I'm sorry?
We were down on the far southeast side, and he gave me a lift downtown to work at the Tribune. And we got on the expressway, and we started heading toward Indiana. We took a wrong turn. So we got off, and we're going through all these neighborhoods where they didn't know Jordan was coming. And we'd pull up to a stop sign or a red light, and they didn't know Michael Jordan was going to be there. But they would surround the car. They would start screaming, "Michael, come back." And Jordan... he was. I don't know whether he's pretending or he's just used to it. It was as if he wasn't hearing this stuff. People are around the car yelling at him, and Jordan just continues the conversation. We get downtown over on Wacker, And some guy, we're slow in traffic, some guy comes up and starts banging hard on the driver's side window. And Jordan rolls the window down and says, "What?" And the guy sticks a piece of paper through, says, "Will you autograph this for my son?" And Jordan says, "Where's your car?" And the guy had left his car in traffic, left his car running to walk up and do this. And Jordan never comments on this. He acts like this is just a standard part of his daily routine.
It's almost like President Clinton having to brush off hecklers and stuff like that, like it's nothing. You know, a politician gets an immune system. Or something.
I never know whether it's a case of Jordan being so used to this type of thing. I mean, because, you know, with a certain, Bruce, as you know, with a certain number of people, if there's more than 100 or so people in a room, Jordan will walk in and someone will start crying. I mean, someone will start weeping at the sight of Jordan. It's that kind of power. And when he doesn't comment on it, you start asking yourself, is he being polite to us? Does he not want to point out how different his life is from ours? Or is it a case where he just has really...
Those things. Kathy, could she get... What she listens to that stuff so... Volkmer, did you hear how loud those headphones are?
It wasn't that loud.
My God, is she deaf or what? It's like Helen Keller in the news. I'm sorry, so what?
So you never know whether Jordan really has stopped noticing this stuff, or whether it's a case that he's being polite to the rest of us by not pointing out that he's got this sort of effect on people the rest of us don't.
So how long were you with Jordan? In order to write Hang Time, how much time... How many hours one-on-one do you think you spent with him?
What happened was I'd written a series of stories about the worst case of child abuse I'd ever covered. And the surviving brother was a 6-year-old boy named Cornelius Abraham. And he said that the great loves of his life were reading and basketball. I wrote a column about this, and I got a call from the Bulls saying that, as you know, tickets to the Bulls are very hard to get, but if I wanted to take him out on a Sunday afternoon, they'd make tickets available. I had been in Chicago almost 20 years at the time. I had never been in the stadium. I'd never been to a Bulls game. I took him out there on a Sunday afternoon with an assistant Cook County State's attorney who had prosecuted the case. And we walked in, and Cornelius has the wide, all-seeing eyes of a frightened doe. And he looked around. I mean, here's a kid who was locked up and tortured and hurt. And here he was in the stadium. And he looked around. He didn't say anything. And we said we had one more place we wanted to take him. So we went down to a lower level, and a door opened up, and a man came out. And Cornelius looked up, and he started trying to talk, and no words would come out. His mouth was moving, but he couldn't talk. And the man helped him out, and he said, "Hi, Cornelius, I'm Michael Jordan." And Jordan knelt down, and he talked to him, and he comforted him, and he didn't rush him. Here's a kid every adult he'd ever known in his life had only wanted to hurt him and humiliated him. And here's Michael Jordan saying, I hope you cheer for us today. I hope we need your help. I met Jordan that day, and for the next 2 years, for whatever reason, we started spending this time together. I didn't know I was going to write Hang Time till a year and a half into it. I spent the time with him because I value the time. I mean, some people think I'm joking when I say that, but I really think in this century you had Elvis Presley in 1956, you had Babe Ruth back in 1927, and you had Jordan these last couple of years. And to watch that close up every night, and I would find myself going out to the stadium early just to spend the time. And it was not started as a book project, but a year and a half into it, I mentioned to him that I might want to do this. And he thought for about 30 seconds, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead."
So that was your first conversation?
Yeah, it was the first time
you had with the little Cornelius?
It's the first Bulls game I'd been to ever.
Okay, second, what was your second conversation? I mean, how do you...
Yeah, it's interesting. That same night, I mean, after that was over, it was an afternoon, actually, I went back down to the locker room to thank him. It had meant so much to this boy that Jordan did this. And so the usual locker room dance was going on, the interviews and all that stuff. And after Jordan was the last guy to leave, and I walked up and I just thanked him for Cornelius. And he had this look on his face, like it was strange. It was like maybe he didn't get thanked all that often. People are always lining up to ask him for one more thing and beseech him for a favor. And I thanked him for that. And as I was leaving, he said, "You come out to the stadium a lot?" And I said, "This is my first time." And Jordan said, "Well, you ought to come back." And that's how it sort of started.
Well, maybe he picked up on the fact that you weren't a so-called groupie.
Well, I'm not a sports writer either. I mean, there's not a person on press row at the stadium who doesn't know 100 times more about basketball than I do.
I don't know. Maybe you know the most.
Well, it wasn't the basketball that drew me there. I continue to think that Jordan, in the strangest way, was never really in the business of basketball. He was in the business of making people happy. Because for 2.5 hours on a winter night, you could go out there and whatever troubles you had in your own life, whatever was worrying you, You could push that aside, and for 2.5 hours, it was less cold. For 2.5 hours, you could find some warmth out there. And that's what he provided. And a lot of times in our lives, when something is happening, we don't realize till years later how the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't a day during this 2 years that I didn't say to myself, you better pay close attention. You better pay attention to this because you will never see anything like this again.
Oh, I said the first time when I started, God, my son, I brought my son. I think his first game might have been 4.5. And I told him right there, I said, this is the greatest athlete you're going to see probably in your lifetime, certainly in mine.
Kevin, you see it every night at the stadium, not just in the stadium, but all over the NBA. You look up in the stands, and there are parents who took their boys and girls there, and it was the only basketball game they'd ever go to, and they did it for one reason. They want to say to their kids years from now, you saw Michael Jordan.
Hey, I love the Bears. I mean, some of them, they're like brothers to me.
I do that with Mike. I say, this is Jim Harbaugh. You're never going to see him again because
you might be right.
I hope he's not going to start next week. So, Bob, how much secrecy was there involved in just getting Jordan from point A to point B? I mean, you say people were banging on the windshield. I mean, does he actually make a lot of public appearances that we're not even aware of?
Can you answer that after I take a break?
Sure.
Do you mind?
No,
now, Bob Green. And now, Bob Green.
Who doesn't know anything about basketball?
Yes, he does. I think he knows a lot. Hey, at least he wasn't at the stadium sleeping, Mr. Playoff.
Hey,
you see Bruce, it'd be a close-up. He'd be on a Sealy
I was just looking
mattress.
at the dot races, and it looks like my eyes are closed.
Hang on, we'll be right back with Bob Green.
At the Loop, we're always developing new and exciting ways to give away our new Loop bumper stickers. Check out this promotional concept.
Doc and Spartacus are on the streets of Chicago.
Yes, we are.
Okay, they have taken a paper plate. They've taken cream of mushroom soup and some other chicken soup, splattered it down on the sidewalk so it looks like they barfed. They've got a spoon. Spartacus is going to go up to Babes and go, do you want to eat this barf for a Loop bumper sticker? Right, Spartacus?
Yeah, Kev, I wish you could see it, man.
It looks real, doesn't it?
It looks, I thought your idea was okay. Then I saw it. It's great, man. It's really
So now you're going to walk up to people and say, hi, we're on the Loop, or give the phone to Doc or whatever.
Yep.
Hi, we're on the Loop. Listen, for a bumper sticker, do you want to eat this barf? And they're going to go, I'll do it, and then you just dive down into it.
You got it. Hi, ladies. We're live on the Loop Radio, and we'll give you a free bumper sticker today if you'll eat our puke. Look, I'll eat it first, ma'am. Look, I'll eat it first.
Just eat it, Spartacus.
I'm eating it.
We're tossing up new ideas in promotion.
Hi, we're live on WLUP. Will you eat my puke?
But for some reason, we're not moving many bumper stickers.
Delicious.
We're the Loop, 97.9 FM.
Bob Green, who is a writer for the Chicago Tribune, syndicated columnist around the country, the author of Hang Time, probably the best book written on Michael Jordan, in the studio. And we were talking just during the break about Bob Costas. You've been on Bob's show before. Bob's been on this show before, and he's leaving NBC.
Yeah, you have to figure, I hope I know him well enough that I can read the signals. He's got something in mind. Because the great pride of Costas's professional life was not the sports broadcasting and was certainly not the studio work. It was later.
With Bob Costas,
right.
To me, it was so simple. It was precious.
And really to me the impressive thing about him doing later, he would tape 4 or 5, sometimes 6 in a day. Mm-hmm. And when you were the guest, it was like you were the only person he had ever thought about. And it only occurred to you later that within 20 minutes after you left NBC in New York, somebody else was up there and he was just as attuned to them.
He and his staff did his homework too.
Oh yeah,
what a researched show that was. Yeah. And now who's the new host of
guy from the E Network?
Greg Kinnear, who I was saying to Bob, he's funny, he's talented, but he's Dennis Miller. Why not just get Dennis Miller? And the whole the show is just going to be totally.
Well, they're taking it to Los Angeles. They're doing it in a studio audience.
Yeah. See, again, I'm so tight. Wouldn't it be? That's why
the last time.
I'm so sick of
the last time I did later.
Yeah.
For some reason, they were experimenting with that idea. Costas was doing it. It was back last summer. And they had a studio audience there. To me, that's not the feel of that show.
No.
The feel of that show is 2 guys, like we're talking now, across from each other, with the illusion that it's just them. And as soon, you don't even have to hear applause or hear laughter.
No.
If you hear a noise during that show, that should be 2 guys in a room.
I agree. That's how come I think Tom Snyder works so well. Larry King works so well. It's one-on-one.
Tom Snyder's a good show, isn't it?
I've been a fan of Tom since day one, and I think that's why Larry King works so well. Someday that's a format that somebody will snag, is to go one-on-one again, no studio
Well, I
audience.
would hope that Costas will do it himself.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know.
Yeah, boy, it'd be
Doesn't
great.
he want to do baseball? He always talks about that. Or is that just a red herring?
He says he wants to do it, but I mean, I don't think, I think about 3 games in, he'd realize that's...
Do we have his home phone number?
And does
By
Michael
chance?
Jordan want to do baseball, Bob?
It's certainly starting to seem like it, isn't it?
Yes. Did he ever say to you that he wanted to be a baseball player?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I know you read it, but there's a new forward in the paperback of Hang Time. But the first the first real chapter of the book, the where it starts off, he's talking about dreams. Because I asked him one night, do you ever? Everyone talks about Jordan in terms of dreams, like aspirations or goals. Kids dream of being Michael Jordan. But I asked him once about real dreams, dreams in the middle of the night when you're asleep. I asked Jordan if he dreamed, and he says, "Yeah, of course I do." And I said, "What do you dream about?" And he said, "A lot of times they're terrifying dreams, because I'll dream I'm a bad alcoholic." And he's not, by the way. Jordan is not an alcoholic by any means. But he says, "I'll dream I'm an alcoholic, and in the dreams I'll wake up numb, because in the dreams I'm an alcoholic and I can't stop myself and I'm going to lose everything. And I wake up I don't know how to stop myself." I said, "Do you ever dream about sports?" And he said, "Yeah, I dream about baseball." And I said, "What's the dream?" And Jordan says, "In the baseball dream, I'm a pitcher, and I'm not a great pitcher, but I get the other side out."
Should call John Clark and find out what the dreams mean. I'm sorry, Bob.
And he said, "In the dream, I'm on the pitcher's mound, and I'm facing the batter, and the crowds don't know who I am, but they're cheering for me not because they think I'll be great. The cheers sound different than they do in arenas around the NBA. In the baseball dream, they want me to be good, but they don't know anything about me." So I said, "You can actually hear in the dreams a different sound?" He says, "Yeah, because in the NBA, they expect me to be great every night. In the baseball dream, they don't know, but they're on my side."
Sounds like a guy who might want to try and do challenge.
Well,
you had before we took a break, Bruce. What was your question for Bob
I believe
Green?
it was something about the privacy.
Yeah, I mean,
Jordan.
you asked when we were doing during the 2 years when we were doing Hang Time, what the logistics were. It's like, you mentioned Clinton jokingly, but the fact is it's worse than that, because Jordan does not travel with an entourage. When the room service guy comes to Jordan's room and knocks on the door, he expects a staff to open the door. It's Jordan in his shorts. He was one of 12 members on a team, and because of that, he traveled like Will Perdue or B.J. Armstrong. He's a guy in a hotel room. But if you wanted to meet Jordan after practice, you'd usually get a call in your room. It'd usually be a young guy named John Diamond who's on the Bulls staff, and he'd say, "The bus is going to pull up at the hotel, but we're going to the back door. We'll walk in, fall into stride with Jordan, and get on the elevator." And that's how it would work, because there would always be these crowds. So you'd see the bus coming, and there'd be about a 3-second window where if you caught up with Jordan, he'd sort of motion to you, you'd get in the elevator, the security guys at the hotel would close the door, you'd go up. Sometimes there would be an armed guard, a guard with a gun, sitting down the hall from Jordan's room just to keep people away.
This stuff that you're talking about right now reminds me of a column you wrote recently about Jordan becoming the next James Bond. Which I thought was hysterical. But not all that far-fetched.
I was watching James Bond last night on TBS. That would work.
Listen, the James Bond I talked to him about it last week, because he's shaking his head and saying I can't be James Bond. But the fact is, think about it.
0023.
The James Bond franchise is dead. Who goes out on the first day to see a James Bond movie anymore? If Jordan were to be James Bond, even for the novelty factor, people would turn out to see it. And think about it.
Well, Woody Allen was James Bond in one of those movies.
Bond.
Jordan would be the most electric James Bond since Sean Connery.
And it could work.
And I got a call from a reader, very angry, saying, "How could I figured I knew what was coming." He says, "Jordan doesn't look the part for James Bond." So I said, "Well, what do you mean, sir?" And he said, "He's not English."
Right. Yeah. And it was Archie Bunker. Hey, John Clark is a dream expert. He runs the Dream Institute here in Chicago.
Oh, we're bringing in all the experts.
We have to now. Okay, John, how are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
Sometimes a dream about baseball is a dream about baseball, Anna.
We're here with Bob Green, and Bob, you might have to repeat the dream. We were talking about Jordan and dreams, actual dreams that he's had.
Yeah.
Can you analyze this one, the first dream? Can
Yeah,
you
well,
say that again? Did you hear it by
I
chance?
heard it, but yeah, repeat it for me if you could.
I'll do a quick version, I suppose. The first dream he has is that he wakes up in the middle of the night with a nightmare that he's an alcoholic. And again, this is not me guessing. This is what Jordan told me, And he said he wakes up numb because in the dream he's a bad alcoholic, which he's not by any means. And he can't stop himself from drinking, and he's going to lose everything. In the second dream, he's a baseball pitcher, and he's on the mound, and he's not a great pitcher, but he wants to just protect his team's lead. And the cheers he hears were not the same cheers he heard in the NBA. The cheers expecting him to be great, but he says they're more cheers of hope. The people don't know anything about me, but they're hoping I'll be all right.
Start with the first dream there, John.
Yeah, the first dream where he's dreaming about alcoholic. The thing about it is, it might have been a night where he felt like he was pretty much out of control and didn't have much of a way to direct the situations in his life.
But he says he has that dream all the time.
Well, that might be why he's out of the game now, because it's talking about where you're trying to implement your own willpower and implement a way to be in more control with yourself. And then when you do feel numb, like you don't have any control, that's what it's talking about, being able to take control of the situation within your life. And, it might have been something reoccurring because of all the things that were happening where he had no real say about how he lived his life because he was under constant pressure. But alcohol is actually representing a way to break down your willpower. And it sounds kind of funny because Michael Jordan seems to be the epitome of strong-willed, the will to win. But I got a feeling that it was talking about something outside of
See, I never read it that way. You're first of all, if Jordan's listening to this, he's thinking, now they're analyzing my dreams.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, my God.
You get a call. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Right? But
Mr. Man.
My take on it was always that he was just so aware that because, be like Mike is a wonderful advertising phrase. It really is.
Yeah.
Unless you're Mike, in which case it could be a little bit terrifying.
Right.
And if you're Jordan and you're hearing "be like Mike" all the time, your fear is that anything you do, any mistake you can make in any area, has the ability to bring you down. And to me, that's when he's saying that he wakes up numb, thinking he's going to lose everything. I don't know. It was always pretty clear to me what he was talking about.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting what John's saying too, though.
I mean, the thing about what it is kind of related to what you said, Bob, because it just kind of delves in. I mean, we'd have to talk to Mike to get a little more specifics. Like what happened the day before that might trigger this reoccurring dream that happens a lot in his life.
Like I say, what he would do is roll his eyes and say, "Leave my dreams alone."
All right, what about the baseball dream?
Yeah, what's the baseball dream mean?
Well, anytime you're playing a game in your dreams, it's talking about how you interact with the game of life. And definitely the position of a pitcher is a position of control and the way you direct your life and being able to, what he was talking about was just being adequate enough, not necessarily a superstar, was how he was interacting, how he feels he was interacting with his life. And there was a lot of, all the people in the crowd are aspects of himself that were giving him cheers of hope, and genuine sincereness rather than, a god or an idol like they did in the basketball.
Yeah, but one of the people in the crowd looked like Jerry Krause. All
right, and that's a nightmare.
Yeah, that is the nightmare now.
Hey, John, thanks a lot, okay?
No problem. I was listening. Good show.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, see you later.
Loopapalooza, the best of the loop.
Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop. Loopapalooza, the best of the loop.
97.9 WLUP Chicago. The Loop.